Hey guys, so just wanted to do a quick video. Hopefully the sound comes through. Little man's still running a fever and he could potentially be getting gastro. Yay! But anyway, so there we go. So I want to talk about today about, here we go, here's the little man right now, about why, you can't see, about why we should focus on, or why we're focusing on movement outside of our PT sessions or our boot camps or whatever it is we do, why we do that in this coaching group. And the main reason being is, so just so a reminder for everyone, the reason why we're doing it is like, just answering that question, what happens if you can't train? Because that is the most important thing. Because training is the one thing that can be taken away from you. You might not be able to do it for the rest of your life. But if you can build stuff around your day about movement, basically that 10,000 steps, building it into your day, no matter what happens, you always got something happening in movement-wise, which allows you to increase your calorie burn, which also allows you to eat more food. He's trying to get... So, we'll bring him up a bit higher. Say hey, Theo. So with the daily burn, that's the most important thing. So if you struggle with food and you want to eat more food, it's not more training that's going to help you. It's actually more NEAT, so more daily activity, which will make the biggest difference. Because training itself will be, I can't give a minute, roughly 10% of your daily calorie burn. That's roughly how it falls. But NEAT can be anywhere from 10% to 50% of your daily calorie burn. So if you want to eat more good food, you need to do more movement, which means 10,000 steps. So I'm making this video a really quick one. If you got questions, throw them in here and I'll answer them. But rule of thumb with the 10,000 steps needs to be done outside of your training session. So take your watch off when you're training. Do not record whatever steps you get in that training session, because we want to make sure we're going to be able to get 10,000 steps if training doesn't happen. And if you are counting what happens during training, when training comes taken away, you'll probably lose 5,000 steps or something like that. So make sure you only wear it when you're not training. And then the other rule of thumb is not to focus on the steps alone. Focus on building activities like moving, parking your car further away, walking to the shops to get your food, or doing the gardening with a bucket so you have to walk backwards and forwards from the hose. Like we're time poor, so there's only so much we can do, but it's easier to do. For me, what I found is a 30-minute walk, and then that's every day. That gives me about halfway there, and then the rest of it I make up with just moving around the house, doing things, chasing after Theo. So whatever way you can, try and do it without focusing on, I need to get 10,000 steps, and focus instead on getting movement. Look at movement. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, I reckon for most people, if they track their steps, they're probably really low. And if they get their steps to 10,000, no matter what training they're doing, even if you still get your steps to 10,000 outside of training, a lot of this stuff will probably work itself out. Like your stress levels will probably drop within reason, and you will get leaner without trying extremely hard trying to do it diet-wise. You'll be able to eat more as well. And then when you do train, that's just additional bonus, and you can eat more food, good food. Again, you can track them with your phone. Both Apple and Samsung have step trackers in their phones now. So you can just use that as a general guideline. And then when you do that, you shoot for anything over 7,000, because it's going to miss a few steps. But if you get over 7,000, you'll be fine. What was the train? I was in a really good train of thought. Yeah. So yeah, if you are focusing on steps alone, you'll find yourself doing like stepping around the lounge room at the end of the day to get 10,000 steps. Whatever you do, don't do that, because that starts becoming a chore and less like a habit and a skill and something you enjoy. Build things into your day over time. So first a 30-minute walk, and then see what your steps end up being at the end of the day. And then the next one will be a 30-minute walk and vacuuming the house. Even though you can't do that every day, but you know what I mean. See what steps you bring in. 30-minute walk and parking further away from your work or further away from the shops, and see what steps it brings in. And bring one thing in at a time until 10,000 steps becomes like a regular thing where you're not forced to go find it. It just kind of happens. And for me, the easiest thing to do to get me from, I was sitting at 6,000 because looking after him, gets stuck in the house a fair bit if he's sick a lot like he has been. 30-minute walk was enough to get me to that 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 mark, and then everything else is just additional to it. So yeah, doesn't have to be more than 10,000. There's no benefit shown to go over 10,000. There's a big improvement from less than 7 to more than 7 and up until 10, and then nothing. There's no real massive improvement from 10 onwards. So you don't have to go for 20 if you're already getting 10. If you're getting 10, perfect. We need to look elsewhere to get results. But yeah, that's why we focus on stuff outside our training, because we need to build that in. And that's what I reckon, when you're doing stuff in here, start focusing more on that with movement. Start focusing on what things you can do to build movement outside of your training sessions. Don't use exercise to fix a movement problem. Exercise is awesome. Use exercise for enjoyment, for getting better at a skill, get better at a task, those things like that. To get stronger, that's good for exercise. Movement is different. Movement has got nothing to do with getting better at a skill or anything like that. Movement is life, because I talk weird, life. And movement is, I like to think is movement is fat loss. Get your fat loss from movement, get your skill development and your strength and playing with bells and enjoyment from exercise. Movement can be enjoyable too, but that's the way I like to differentiate the two for myself. So yeah, comment in the comments and let me know what you think and your thoughts, and are you getting on average 10,000 steps, 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day? It's a good thing to look at. I'm going to show you guys a new app, because I love apps. It's coming out called the Recovery app, and why this stuff is really important when you go into hard training zones, which a lot of you guys are about to fall into a lot of hard training times coming up. And I'll show you why keeping those 10,000 steps there will help with your recovery. All right, guys. See ya.